Now let's ask this question to an agency that ran this ad. The agency is going to say that the copy was very creative, right? So they basically went through a long 2-day conference on thumbnailing, figured out which thumbnails will work, and they fought over in a conference room and figured out this thumbnail is the best thumbnail. And they basically said, all right, let's go with this thumbnail. And then the next thing they did was, let's make a call to action on this thumbnail. The call to action in this case was, look at Jennifer Lopez's smirk and click to watch this video at this particular site, right? The third thing they will say is that targeting was spot on. So they actually did a lot of A/B testing. They figured out that this particular content, J-Lo would be more attractive to certain age women, certain age men, and they did that through various means of, tool sets available to the agencies. And the fourth thing is they said, well, it was the right amount of money. So we used $1K every month to promote this content, and that's why this video got so many views. So overall, the agency is saying that there are 4 different issues that actually led this campaign to be successful. One is a copy, content, brand, and the reach, right? Now, I'm not going to argue about the copy, content, and brand, because obviously those 3 exist here. Now let's talk about the reach, right? And the reach is, this is basically where the A/B tested and figured out how many views and how many likes and how many shares. So the consumer response, I'll go to the consumer and ask them the same question. So why did you actually like this video? Why did you view this? Why did you share this? And a simple answer you always get is, because I liked the video, right? That's basically the answer that you get all the time. But why? Why do you like this video? I mean, what is it about this video that actually engaged you to take those actions? Now that information the agency doesn't have, because the agency just relies on the metric of view. So now let's go into Twitter, and I'll go into each and every network and start to decode. Let's look at the decode engagement on Twitter. Now on Twitter, let's look at a tweet where there is Tyra Banks in that tweet, and then this guy who's selling robotic selfie sticks, right? He happens to be there when Tyra is there, and he takes that selfie stick and he tweets saying, hey, look who I found at a Wall Street Journal event, and she's using my selfie stick. And he got a lot of retweets. Obviously, Tyra also retweeted that. And he also maybe got a few followers. But overall, the agency will focus on, okay, this particular tweet got 23 retweets and 67 likes. So now, that's a success as far as the agency is concerned. They will say, all right, let's go out and promote this tweet. Let's put some money in it and make this tweet much more visible to a lot more people. And the reason is Tyra is a brand, so more recognizable, yes. And the engagement seems to be very high because we've already seen that as a result of this tweet, right? So basically, you double up on the views or double up on the initial engagement that this tweet might have received. Now, let's decode that further. Once you go into the next level of the tweet and click on the people that retweeted and click on the comments that they might have left, you'll start to notice that this tweet is getting a lot more engagement because of Tyra and her brand, not because of the product. Right? So basically, as an agency, you have actually promoted this tweet, bought a Twitter buy to make Tyra's brand much more popular than the product. Right? And this continues into other forms of networking as well. So let's go into Facebook, for example. Let's look at Facebook video and Twitter video, YouTube video. So now there's an issue between these 2 formats, as we've noticed in recent years. There's an issue between autoplay and click-to-play. Facebook says 3 seconds of video view is a view. YouTube says 20 seconds, nobody knows, it's a black box, right? It could be 3 seconds, it could be 10 seconds. Even probably YouTube doesn't know that. So from my perspective, these 2 issues of autoplay and click-to-play has its own problems. The reason being, both of these metrics, it doesn't matter how you measure the views, at the end of the day, both of these networks are saying that if a content gets maximum views, it's a success, right? So again, the agency looks at this metric, the view metric, and says, right, this is getting 5.8K likes, let's double up and then make this a sponsored story, right? So now again, if you start to decode this, if you go into the comments section of why this started to get so many likes and so much engagement, you'll start to again realize that these views are not really directly relational to the likes and shares that you're seeing, right? And as an agency, you actually don't know how many of those shares and comments ended up, incrementing the views, right? That information is not available today on any platform. There's no metrics on that at this point in time. So engagement cannot be decoded. So that's basically the end of the end of the story from the perspective of a Facebook or a Twitter or a Pinterest or even Google Plus. So unless we change the way we measure, engagement cannot be decoded. So now I'm going to talk about how we can actually look at changing that metric of view and digging deeper into understanding the content. I'm not saying that this is the only way to do it. There's probably other ways out there, but this is one of the ways that you do it. So let's think back a bit and look at how a content is produced, right? When a content is produced, the first thing we do is write a script. And from the script, you create a storyboard. And a storyboard is in two-dimensional form, probably in a piece of paper or two-dimensional computer imaging. And then from that storyboard, you go into production. And then from the production, you go into post-production, and then the distribution. So when we start the content from the storyboard process, why is it that the content is not being presented in the storyboard process at the end, at the end section? Why is it always one frame? One frame does not tell the story of what this content is all about. Image, yes. When you have an image, there's only one image. It's a beach, it's a cat, it's a dog. But when you have a video, that Jennifer Lopez video you saw, one image is supposed to indicate to the consumer what the content is all about. So now let's break them apart. So how about I go in, break that content into a storyboard, or what I call a manga, for example. So there are two different ways that you can actually break this into a manga. One on the left is a pictorial summary, the way it is. So basically it takes into account what the storyboard would look like. And the second is a quick summary on a mobile device with a similar format and a similar structure to it. So let me go into the next one. How does it work? So there are many ways that you can actually generate a manga, but in this case, generation is through analysis of color, motion, image similarity, and clip duration. Combination of those variables, they've come up with the generation of a manga. This is basically a pictorial representation of a video, right? And when you click on, just like a typical manga does, if you look at a magazine, nobody buys a magazine and reads the magazine from the front cover to the last, right? That's not the expectation of a magazine seller. All right, that's why you have a table of contents in front of the magazine, and you basically go in and say, all right, I want to read this article, and you jump to that article. Why can't we do the same thing with video? Because that's basically the medium that we have to carry forward, right? In the movie business, in the DVD business, you do have chaptering at the end of the DVD, but it's not presented in the front, obviously because you don't want to break the suspense. But in this case, you want your consumer to engage in the content that they find attractive and they find interesting. So from that perspective, when you present this in a pictorial summary, the way it's presented here, a consumer can come in and say, you know what, I really like where Tyra is being shown, I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to start the video from that point in time. Somebody else might come in and say, you know what, I don't really care about Tyra, I want to see the product, so they'll click on the product, and they'll see the product. So overall, you've got two people clicking into the video for different reasons, but the end goal is you got them to click into the video, which you probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise with a single frame. Right? So that's one thing. The second thing is, why not go back and run the same campaign that you ran with a single frame video with this format? So you send this into a Twitter card, the way it looks right now. You send the same video into a Facebook, the way it looks right now. So basically you're planning a campaign the way you would plan your regular campaign, the way you do today. But instead of sending a single frame, you would send a pictorial summary, the way it's shown right here. And furthermore, you can actually send the same kind of format into the websites as well, or into mobile devices through ad units, either through Google Ad Network or any ad network of your own choice, right? And you start to show up this way. And then your consumers are basically interacting and clicking on the content that they like and they want to basically engage on. Now, once you get that engagement back, so you have presented this to your consumer, they're clicking on different mediums, different frames, and they're actually engaging on your content. So when you get your content back, now when you look at the analytics of the video that a YouTube or any other video platform produces, the analytics that they produce is the view of the top level of the video, the whole video, right? But when you start to break this into a pictorial summary, so now you get analytics of every frame of the video, right? So now you can understand what is happening to your content inside, as where is the consumer interacting with, what are they actually engaging with. So in this case, if you notice, that particular frame is getting most engagement. Most people are clicking into that frame and starting the video from that point of time, right? And then you can also see the traffic. The traffic to that frame is coming from these markets that is highlighted there, right? And this enables you to understand that, okay, Japan and US are more interested in that frame. So what I'm going to do is, I am going to take that frame and I'm going to promote that frame instead of promoting, a frame that is not really seeing much traction. Furthermore, you can actually understand where the traffic is coming from. Yes, it's coming from Japan, it's coming from US, but which network is it coming from? Is it coming from Facebook, from Pinterest, from Twitter, or Google, right? I mean, if you look at Google, there are 3 people there. I think all 3 of them are employees of Google, right? So if you notice that, you can actually figure out now, okay, where is it that I want to run my campaign? Where do I want to double up? I want to double up at Pinterest and Facebook according to this results here. So I would basically go out and use that frame that is actually getting more engagement, and then run another campaign again, and then promote that campaign instead of blindly promoting on views only, right? So furthermore, you can actually check and act on other metrics too. You can look at what's happening, which network is getting more likes and shares. Is it getting more retweets on Twitter? Is it getting more retweets on on Pinterest, or repins on Pinterest, or is it getting more likes on Facebook? And furthermore, you can also look at what's happening to the comments. Are the comments being acted on which frame, at what time, and in which geography, on which network? And all of that information that's available to you, you can actually now make an informed decision as to which content you want to promote, rather than blindly promoting content based on views. Right? So basically, that's what I'm saying here. Is saying that if you want to A/B test, don't A/B test at the frame level. Don't sit around in a conference room and pick 3 frames and say, I'm going to basically A/B test on that frame. A/B test with the crowd, with your consumers. Go out in the market, basically present this format, present your content with this pictorial summary format, and then see what kind of results you get out of it. And once you get out the results, then you know which content actually is more engaging, so that you can double up on that campaign and then move that into the different mediums. So coming into the summary, basically my whole talk is about don't be a victim or married to the view, right? Measure beyond the view. Look at the replays. What kind of people are actually coming back and replaying the video again and again? Look at the view time, right? Views, as I said, 3 seconds is a view as per Facebook, and 20 seconds is a YouTube. But for you as an agency or you as a publisher, what constitutes a view? So measure that against your view count, not the count that the network provides you. And look at the scene popularity. Which particular scene of the video is getting more engagement? Maybe that's what you want to double up on. When you make another content, and in relation to the first content you made, if a particular scene was actually getting more engagement, then that's what you want to again highlight in the next content. Right? And look at the comment section. There's a lot of trolls in the comment, so you can actually not figure out where, what, and how, and what's going on with the content. When you look at the comments today on a top-down fashion on YouTube or Facebook, when you have a frame level commenting, you can actually have a much more interesting idea as to which frame of the video is actually getting more traction. Obviously, likes and shares. You want to include everything. I'm not saying that exclude the likes and shares on view, but make an informed decision with all things considered, not just one metric. The second is measure each channel separately. What happens most of the times in the agencies is that if a content got a lot of engagement on Facebook, they think that they will actually get the same engagement on Twitter. They'll take the same copy, they'll take everything else, and then basically repurpose that into another network. And that normally doesn't, work out that way, because the people that are on each networks have different ways of engaging with the content. So you've got to measure instead of just, blindly going out and sending this content to one content into all platforms. And third, most importantly, experiment, test, be a pioneer, in terms of how you actually run your campaigns. If you're just going to be running a campaign just because somebody else did Facebook, and you think you're going to succeed based on that, that's not how it works. Remember that the new platforms is where probably more users are there that are interested in what you have to say. In an old platform, and I'm not saying old in terms of age, in terms of usage. Let's say you send something to Facebook in a single frame, most people will ignore that. But if you send something like a pictorial summary into a Facebook feed, now everybody will actually look up and say, right, this is something interesting I've not seen before, so they'll engage more. And so for that reason, you have to include new platforms as you actually run campaigns on the old networks like Facebook and Twitter and so forth. And that's my spiel. And basically, we are exhibiting it down on the floor at Direct Zone. So please come by and talk to us if you need more information as to what we do, as well as anything that you have. So Joe, can you please come up and then we take some question and answers if you guys have any, both for both of us. Questions? They're going to use both our products, right? No questions.
Cool. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.